Human beings don't know how to greet. What is the first point of investment in any relationship? First point, any relationship, is that first encounter, that first hello. You mess that up, that potential relationship is down the tubes. So why do we pay so little attention to such a powerful point of investment in any relationship? So how do you greet? What's your intention behind your greeting, the way you greet? Think about the time that you've greeted someone, whichever way you choose to greet, and you made contact and connection with that person. What happened? What was different? Think about the security guard where you live. You live in a townhouse complex, security complex. Do you know their names? Yeah, maybe. Do you know if they're married, they have children? What do you know about them? The person who checks out your groceries in your favorite shop, do you get to connect with them and really get to know them? If you're a manager, a leader, a boss, the people that work for you, how much do you know about them? So I'm talking to you about human connection using some of the oldest tools we have. And I'm going to talk about this one. When was the last time you greeted someone consciously with Ubuntu? What is Ubuntu? Boot. We find this anywhere and everywhere where you find human beings. Ubuntu, I call it the eyes heart that sees into the next person's eyes and heart too. When we use Ubuntu, which has been defined as I am because we are, but Ubuntu is more than that, we see into the soul of the other, and we engage in what in the East, in India, for example, they use the word namaste. It means the same thing. It means I see you, but I see more than just your physical manifestation. I'm connecting with you and all that you represent. Ubuntu is not just charity or huggy and sing kumbaya. Ubuntu is collective accountability to what brings us together in these shared spaces, in organizations or anywhere else in life, in society. I'm here to tell you that we need to remember who we are. We are interconnected beings. And one of those things that connects us starts with conscious greeting. A conscious greeting you cannot forget. See, we do so many things that are meaningless. For example, right now, I can put my fingers through my hair. You got it, right? It means nothing. It's like greeting and a tick box greeting, which is meaningless. So you need to connect to Bongan, to whoever you're greeting, and see the person for who they are. And connect with Ubuntu, knowing that you are inherently connected. Look at these two young men in this image. What's going on here is that the best human connection hack ever is conscious greeting with Ubuntu and Ubuntu Intelligence. Ubuntu being that recognition of the other, and Ubuntu Intelligence, the ability and capacity to leave these Ubuntu values on a daily basis without being reminded, it becomes our first nature, because it is inherent in us to connect to each other. We have forgotten that for a number of reasons. So we need to go back to do Ubuntu Intelligence and normalize living these values on a daily basis, because that's what we need in a fragmented, disconnected, virtual world. The digital space needs us to remember who we are, interconnected beings. I grew up in a rural village for the early part of my life. I used to run to school 7 kilometers one way. Homesteads almost sparsely populated like that in the image you see. And me and my siblings and our neighbors and friends, you made sure that any adult that you meet, you greet. Because if you do not, they will discipline you right on the spot. And they will make sure that your parents got to hear of it. It was instilled in us to connect, because it's those connections that fuel, feed, nourish human relationships. So we need to go back to basics by connecting. We live in urban areas, literally on top of each other, and yet we are not connected. We don't see each other. We pass each other, maybe in the elevator there, not even a hello. What happened? Where did we lose our humaneness, our Ubuntu Mood? What nourishes our relationships? We can do better as humanity. And it's time we do that now, because the robots they're not coming. They're here. And they talk to each other better than we do. If you're in the suburbs, do you know your neighbor? If you have a home invasion, can someone come to your rescue? Maybe you have a neighborhood WhatsApp group. Maybe you don't have a chance to get to that phone. But the point is, we have a responsibility to ourselves and each other to do a better job of human connection using Ubuntu and Ubuntu Intelligence, principles and values. Why? Because we are hardwired to connect, not hardwired. Human beings are hardwired to connect. We have done such a brilliant job of separation and disconnection. It's time to come back home to who we really are. And we can learn from one of our heroes, Nelson Mandela, who said, no one is born hating another person because of the color of his or her skin, or his or her background, or his or her religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Let that sink in. He knew it because he practiced it. When he came out of jail, he remained friends with his prison guard. Look, he's smiling there. I'm sure the prison guard must have been feeling guilty there, but yeah. And look at the look on Mandela's face with children. What's going on there? It's moments of connection at an early stage. He knew that. What are we doing about this connection hacks today? So imagine a life without Ubuntu, because we all know this. We see it when there are natural disasters. Remember the fires in Cape Town. I think we need more Ubuntu when the fires are in the informal settlement, but that's another story. Because this is what Maya Angelou the American poet and author, said about this. And my message to you is about greeting. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. My question to you, how are you making people feel when you leave them? When you've had a meeting, an encounter with another person, how do they feel afterwards? We are in this together, whether we like it or not. We are in this together. And if you want to go fast, yeah, you go alone. You go fast, but you may not go far. If you want to go far, we go together. Because that is who we are. Interconnected beings with Ubuntu and Ubuntu Intelligence. A good friend of mine always says, let's do human better. What does that mean? It means that we understand that the disconnections, the fragmentation that's among us, whatever it's based on culture, race, age, and all those other superficial discrepancies, we can transcend them, we can overcome them, and connect to who we are, genuinely, honestly, authentically, naturally. Human beings with Ubuntu and Ubuntu Intelligence, which I've called UbuQ. So that's a takeaway for you today. There is IQ, there's EQ, there's other Qs. Now you know one more. UbuQ, it's a thing, and it's real. So greet consciously, connect consciously. In my language, I say sawubona, sanbonan. I see you. Do you see yourself? Do you see others around you? We have a responsibility to humanity to start seeing each other. I see you. Thank you very much.